All right. Let's go, Dolphin fans, football fans, hockey fans that just wanna talk about hockey on the football stream since we talk football on the hockey stream. All right, let's blow up this chat. Should be a little bit easier on me. We're not expecting 100 people like we normally have. How we doing, Colin? Hey, thank you, Amanda. All right, way to start us off. Appreciate that, Amanda. Thank you. Time to run it up here. Yeah, everybody, well, you all know the story of what happened last year. I shouldn't have stopped making videos for this channel. I should have kept going, but it was just too much on me with everything that happened. So, but we're good to go now. I'm dedicated to this channel now in the same way that I run the hockey channel. So, onwards and upwards. At least the channel's already got a base of people, so we'll do good. We'll do just fine here. And the thing I like about starting to run this channel again, it's like I've said, the old days of the Panther channel, the first 3 or 4 years was just all bitching and complaining. And now the Panthers are so good, I never get to bitch and complain anymore. And so now I get to complain about the Dolphins. Is it a Waddle shirt? Here we go. Hey, Daniel. There you go. I don't know if I assume the camera is picking that up. I assume the camera's picking that up. Hey, Spaceman. Daniel Barry, how's everybody doing? Yeah, this is you thought it was a hockey jersey for a second. Yeah, it's my 2 sizes too small jersey, but I don't want to get rid of Tannehill. So it is what it is. He stays, right? When this jersey fits me, I know I have to get into the gym. So I keep it in case I get too skinny. I have the opposite problem with the Lime. I have the opposite problem. I don't gain too much weight. I get too skinny. So the fact that I can get into this tells me it's time to get my happy ass into the gym. So all we've heard all offseason from this team is kind of similar to what we've heard before. And that is the whole culture change thing. And I've left a couple comments on some of the videos that I've seen that, but I haven't really got much of a response. You just can't have the same people, same players, and just change the culture. And we've seen that with the Panthers, right? I mean, we had to go ahead. We had new GM, new coach, made the Kachuk trade. That changed the culture. So I don't know what McDaniel's suddenly going to become a hard ass. Nobody's going to buy it from that guy. So we're kind of, as Dolphin fans, we're kind of in this stage of course, we want the team to do good, right? We want them to win. But we also kind of, on one hand, realize they might not be very good at all this year. And then on the other hand, it's like, well, if they're not going to be good, you want them to be bad, really bad, so that we can get rid of Greer and McDaniel and just wipe the slate clean. So it's kind of going to be anticlimactic. Like if they win 10 games and lose in the playoffs again, is that going to be enough for Ross to say, go ahead and bring them all back? You know what I mean? Colby says, Maurice and Bill Zito seriously need to meet with the Dolphins front office and help them get their heads out of their ass. They just, yeah. I mean, there are no two opposite examples of how to run a team in a franchise versus how not to run a team in a franchise than Vinny Viola and Bill Zito and Ross with Greer. It is as opposite as two franchises could go. Spaceman says cheering for the Dolphins is like cheering for the Leafs. When I grew up, that was the case. When I grew up, that was the case in the sense that we had past glory in the 70s. We were still supposed to win because we had Marino, and we just kept finding ways to lose in the postseason. That was like cheering for the Leafs. Now, I mean, At least Toronto's in it every year. At least they can get gaslit into believing that they might have a chance. Yeah, Colin says fantasy football season can't come any sooner. We're not that far away. I mean, we're less than a month away from camp. I think the 23rd, or is it the 18th? When does Dolphin? Let's look at that. Spaceman, your Giants are dog shit. Yeah. Yeah, Andrew, that's a good question. We'll talk about that. Let me see. Miami Dolphins training camp schedule. Let's see. Hey, I picked that. Let's see. Do we have a schedule? Do we have it yet? That's tickets for, here we go. So, yeah, July 26th is back together weekend. Is that what that is? And then I guess the 28th is kind of the kickoff, the 26th, 28th. So we're basically a month away. And in terms, Andrew, yeah, the defensive line should be pretty good, but what do we have at corner? I mean, if we lose Ramsey, now apparently Tyreek Hill was going to go talk to Ramsey and see if he could convince him to stay. But if you lose Ramsey, the closest thing we have to a veteran quarterback is Kader Kohou, or cornerback, I should say. The assumption is that if we lose Ramsey, we're going to go pick up a guy because there will be more people, especially during camp. But I don't really have a good grasp on what they're doing from the sense of you would like to think that Greer and McDaniel are on the hot seat, but it doesn't look like they've really been empowered to go do much of anything, especially Greer, to try to change things. So I think Ross may be getting to the point where he's just like, I had enough of hearing about Tua's potential, and it's kind of going to be a put up or shut up type of season there. Colin says, curious if we're going to stream some college football games. I don't think so. I don't know anything about college football, and I'm already going to be abusing Kyle as it is by doing football and hockey at the same time. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Colby. Well, you just never know what we're going to do at goalie after Bob leaves, but we got a few years to figure that out. Guitarco says it's going to be another lackluster season, most likely. I mean, we hope for the best, but it's kind of also good to go in with no expectations, right? I guess there won't be a lot of disappointment. Like if we win 4 games, we'll all kind of be like, yeah, you could kind of see that coming. I think anything more than 9 wins would be a surprise. Andrew says Kodu is a nickel. He can't play outside. Oh, no disagreement there. I'm not so sure he'd do, he can't, certainly not to replace Ramsey. I'm just saying that's all we have. That's all. So you would assume there's a few guys out there, but obviously we're not going to do anything. Maybe, until Ramsey's traded, but maybe he'll stay. It doesn't sound like they're having a ton of luck in terms of finding a trade partner there. And it also looks like you might see Jonnu Smith not get traded. He might get an extension, which that's another one. I mean, Greer is just such a terrible GM. Like every time we need to pay a guy, we can't pay him and we lose him, and it just sucks. Colin, yeah, you do think McDaniel and Greer are on the hot seat? As long as Ross has pretty much been the owner, it's been the same thing where you either get rid of the GM or the coach instead of just doing the whole thing at once. And, maybe you get a new GM, right? If we start the season off 2-6 or whatever the hell we were that one year, if we get a new GM, maybe he takes McDaniel out. But it's just been rinse and repeat for so long. And Ross saying the status quo is not acceptable. Well, I think we're worse right now. Now, I will say Greer had a decent draft. He did have a decent draft, and he should. We had so many picks. We did make some deals, so we didn't have so many picks, but we did all right. The draft was pretty good. I think I gave us a B. Whether or not we're able to turn that into anything, I don't know. Andrew says, what do I think the best unit will be on the team? Probably defensive line. You know, it's I would assume the defensive line, wide receivers could be a strength. We got to see how Hill plays, right? He wasn't fantastic last year. Can Waddle stay healthy? He's always dinged. I like the running backs. If you keep Jonnu, tight ends pretty good. I think the defensive line should be decent or better than decent. The linebacking core is and then the secondary is a problem. The secondary could definitely be a problem. So if the defensive line doesn't produce pass rush, right? What's the status of Phillips coming back from the injury? What's the situation with Chubb? I mean, so health on that defensive line. Because if we can't get pass rush, the secondary is going to get eaten alive, and the linebackers aren't great cover guys either. So I have a feeling we could see a situation where Tua has a great year because we're always trying to score 35, 40 points to be able to win the game. So teams will probably just bypass the option to run against us because the D-line should be so good, especially against the run, and just opt for the quick passing game. And if we can't get pressure on teams, it could get a lot of ball control, 8 plays, 75 yards, 7 of them are receptions, type of long, frustrating drives, can't get off the field on third down, stuff like that. Hey, Evelyn. Coley, dark horses are across the NFL. Teams or players. It depends on who you talk to. I know some people think the Patriots could finish in second place. Now, that's not saying a whole lot considering you got the Dolphins and Jets. But New England could, if Miami and the Jets really tank, New England could probably win 9 or 10 games if they can win their division games. I know people like Denver. Can't trust Cincinnati. Can't trust Jacksonville. Over in the NFC, I'm curious to see how Atlanta looks. Right? See what the Vikings are able to do. The Giants, I don't think much of. That division is going to be blood sport because between Philadelphia, the Cowboys, and the Commanders, you could easily have, again, 3 playoff teams out of that division. Patel says, look how we go from a champion like the Panthers to status quo for the past 25 years. Ownership has a lot to do with it. Evelyn, I got no complaints other than it's too damn hot outside. I don't think we hit 100 today. I think it's 96 right now. 95. It's cooled off. Yesterday we hit 100 degrees. Real says when it comes to the Dolphins, I'm like IDKs with the Panthers. We're doomed. Colin says you're definitely going to draft Achane again in fantasy. I'm going to definitely make sure that I don't pick right after Kyle in our fantasy draft this year. That's for damn sure. He pissed me off. He pissed me off last year, man. He took 6 of my players. He took 6 of my players last year because he picked right after me. And he didn't even know. You have your players in the queue for who you're going to draft. He's in another room, and it's only 14 rounds. So 7 times he drafted before me, 7 times I drafted, before him, and 6 of the 7 times that he picked right before me, he picked a player that was in my queue that was my pick. 6 out of the 7 times. Oh, bastard. So my team sucked because he just kept taking my guys, and then I had to make decisions on the fly. And then the one guy that I did get, I had Jonnu Smith. I drafted Smith, and I gave up on him like after week 2 or week 3, whenever it was. I put him on waivers, and Kyle picked him up. Jake says, always have like 3 or 4 guys. You get excited when you get to the person in the front. Yeah, I didn't give it my all. We'll put it that way. You know what I mean? Now, one of the guys was like a wide receiver on a team. I always go quarterback wide receiver combinations. And I forget who it was, but I took the quarterback, and then I had the wide receiver lined up in the next round, and nobody really should have been taking him. It was only worth it if he had the quarterback. And Kyle takes him. Like, I'm yelling, what are you doing? What are you doing? I see. We're going to have to do things different. He's asking if there's any openings in the football league this year. Last year, I created the league, but I didn't make it private. So I'm going to create probably 2 leagues this year and then just make them private. Because what happened was I created them, and then by the time I got the post to you guys and told you guys to go join, like a bunch of people that didn't even have anything to do with the channel had joined. So, yeah, we'll make it private, and then we'll see. We'll just see how many leagues it takes. So it's just us. I'm only gonna want to run one team. So, which reminds me, I gotta put out a post on the hockey channel. Hopefully, I can remember that today, because I have all the who won the bracket and everything. I took all the screenshots, so I'll have to get that out. Jake, yeah, I used to be really good at it. Like when back in the day when all I did was eBay, and I was home on the internet all the time. I did pretty well. I used to win championships almost every year because I was home all the time. And so, like, anytime I was like the waiver wire king, you couldn't get anything past me. Colin says an ESPN league would be better. Well, I haven't. What did we play? Did we do CBS? I think that's what I'm used to. But I don't care. If you guys want to do it on ESPN, we'll do it that way. Colin says a live stream for the fantasy football draft would be cool. That's not a bad idea. If I create the league, right, and it's just us, then yeah, we could do that. Sure. Why not? Don says Russ is better than Tua. I mean, at least we know with one thing with Russ, we know he can win big games, right? We know he can win big games. We also know that he doesn't have the cojones to override when his coach makes a stupid call on the goal line in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, you got Marshawn Lynch. Don't get me started, right? You think he's going to cook for New York? We'll see. They got that. What's the name of the kid that they drafted? The hell's his name? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, I know some Giants fans are hoping that they get a chance to see the kid. Jameson, how you doing, bud? So you're hoping that the Seahawks plan to develop Milroe at quarterback 3. McDonald has a couple seasons to build while developing under Darnold for 2 or 3 years. Yeah, Darnold's been pretty good. That's right, Russ. Colin, Russ can also play in cold weather. Dart, yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, Dart. I'd be surprised. I mean, Russ got replaced last year too, right? Which, speaking of that, what do you guys think? How do you think Rodgers is going to do in Pittsburgh? It tells us how well will Cam Ward do in Tennessee. I don't know what they really have around him. You know what I mean? Like some guys can come into a team and they have a decent system around them. Tennessee, I mean, they had to do it. They did the right thing. But he could struggle. He could struggle. It depends on what their schedule is too as well. Right? That division isn't all that bad, so he might have some up and downs. Andrew says Tua has better anticipation, but also thinks he's athletic too and can run around. Yeah, and he's not. And he can. He looks like a drunken gazelle, Tua does, running the ball. It's just, there's nothing comfortable. And, you know, he had a press conference, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I put it up. And, I mean, he's talking, and it's just, you're just like, how did you not know this? He's saying things like, you know, I've had to learn that, you know, me being available to the team is more important than any one play, any one first down. And that, you know, I got to protect myself. And it's like, man, that's the same thing he's been saying. I gotta protect myself. It's like, has anybody ever heard of an NFL quarterback using that kind of language? Like, I have to protect myself. Like, the dude knows he's that fragile. It's like, I was shocked he came back at all. And it's just hard because he's just one bad hit away from something really bad happening. Donna says Dart has to sit. He's too young, but I think he can be something in the NFL. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to send him out there to get killed on the Giants. It wouldn't surprise me if he got into some games too. You know what I mean? Jake, you're nervous and excited for JJ. If he's good, you'll be dangerous. Yep. Minnesota's got a decent team. Krabs, talking about the Dolphins quarterback room is not that good. It's not that good. Well, we did. Are you talking about the Dolphins? We did draft the one guy that everybody thinks is going to be the second coming of Dan Marino. Every time we draft a guy in the seventh round, there's always that section of the fan base that thinks he's going to be the next big thing. Hey, what a route, Rob. Yeah, I know. I missed the Dolphins' older logos, the uniforms. It was all so much better. It just really was. Vikings have a tough schedule. Steelers going to Super Bowl? Exactly, real. Oh, Krabs, you say Tua can't say you think Ewers is just another Tua? And watch Zach Wilson. Now, I know that, you know, Zach Wilson is Zach Wilson, but all the other ex-Jets quarterbacks have done pretty well. If Rodgers kills it in Pittsburgh this year, that'll be how many ex-Jets quarterbacks? 3? Yeah, Russ and Bob are the same age, and the Russian is clearly better, right? Jameson says, we all know how Rodgers in Pittsburgh is going to turn out. Expect a DK Metcalf drama in like week 2. Tonight on Days of Our Steelers, then again, you can make a whole day of Dolphins series, Days of Our Dolphins, just from that, just from the offseason. Hey, how many weeks into the season before Tyreek gets arrested again? Don, she wished the Giants would have got Cam Ward. Yeah. I know there were people that wanted Miami to trade up and do that, but that was never going to happen. Yeah, the NFL memes on Instagram are going to be some greats, that's for sure. Hey, Matty, you were at the Buffalo game? Very cool. Reals, yeah, has anyone ever heard of an NFL quarterback who can't be used for a quarterback sneak because they take one hit and they're done? It's such a weird situation. You're biased for Ewers? Yeah, we'll take it. I mean, look, it can't be worse. What I want to know is what happened to what the hell the kid that we almost the quarterback. Why can't I remember his name? I can't remember names right now. I have too much hockey on my mind. The quarterback that we drafted, he's gone now. We almost beat Buffalo in that playoff game. I want to know what happened to him because he started off looking like he was going to be decent, and then he just got worse and worse and worse. The more that we developed him, the worse he got. Why can't I remember the kid's name? Jesus, my brain is fried. Thompson, yeah, Skyler. What? He started off looking like he was going to be good. And then the longer he was with us, the worse he got. Yeah, I know he's gone. What I mean, when I say what happened, I mean, like, how come he continued to get worse? Like, we did almost beat Buffalo with him in a playoff game. And, like, every time he would step on the field, last year was awful. Like, I could have done better. It kind of makes me wonder who the quarterback's coach is and what the hell's going on with how we're developing quarterbacks, kind of like with the Jets. Andrew says Skyler couldn't read the defense and held the ball too long, didn't fit the scheme. Right. Yeah, no, definitely. But I'm just saying, I don't know why. He was better when we first brought him out, but I guess maybe teams saw film on him, right? Rosado says, Aaron told me he doesn't fly the plane home anymore. Yeah. Did you tell him to unblock me, Rosado? That's the thing. Andrew says the scheme is Tua or nothing. And that's why I'm not a crazy fan of McDaniels. I mean, can Zach Wilson run that scheme? Like in week 3. So let's look at the schedule. Let me bring it up. Well, look at the schedule. What the hell? You were going to – thanks, Rosado. I appreciate that, right? No, he didn't even ask him. Thanks, Rosado. Appreciate that, man. I remember that. Thanks. So let's pick which game. I can't see the chat. Here we go. I can still see it over here. There we go. I can still see it. Let's pick which game Tua gets hurt. So week one against the Colts, he'll survive that game. Week 2 against the Patriots, maybe he survives that. Week 3 against, this is it. He makes it to the 3rd game. So we got Sunday, Thursday. So we're going to have to play at Buffalo. Oh, and it's Amazon Prime. Jesus. So we're going to have to play at Buffalo the 3rd week in their season on Thursday night. Yeah, is he even going to survive that? Right? Yeah, week 3. So then we got the Jets on the 29th. Got Carolina on the 5th. Then we got the Chargers on Sunday. So that's the 3. Well, we got Monday night. It's such a weird schedule because Sunday, Thursday, Monday, Panthers, Chargers. So then when Tua comes back after being hurt, then he comes back against the Browns. And this is where the season, we start to have the imaginary fantasy land where we're going to be good because Tua comes back and we beat Cleveland and we beat Atlanta. Oh, Jesus. Then we play Baltimore on another Thursday night. It's on Amazon again. We're going to get killed. That's it. We got Buffalo and Baltimore on Thursday nights. Yeah. Come on. At least Halloween's on a Friday night that year. So that's good. That's not bad. So, holy crap. So then we obviously get, and then we got Buffalo again. So at least we get some rest here. At least this is a home game. But yikes. I know one of these games, I forget one of the games is overseas. So then we got the Commanders. Was that the bye? No, that's not the bye yet. Oh, yeah, that's the overseas game. This is the one, the Commanders game. Yikes. Then we get the bye. And then we get the Saints at home. We get the Jets at home, some winnable games. And we got Aaron Rodgers on Monday night if he's still playing. Aaron Rodgers on Monday night if he's still playing. And then we got Cincinnati at home, Tampa Bay at home, and then we're at the Patriots. So the end of that season isn't all that terrible, but it's this middle section where Baltimore on Thursday, then Buffalo, then Washington. Those 3 games, it's going to be a miracle if we win one of those games. One of them. What's the prediction? What did I do? I put out a video. Let's see. What is my prediction? Hold on a second. Because I did a blind schedule reaction. I did a blind schedule reaction when it first came out. And I don't even remember what I said. I think I got us to 9 wins. Let me see. Where's the schedule? What did I get us to? I think I got us to 9 wins. Skip. Yeah, let's see. I didn't. You idiot, Jaws. Yeah, see, now that's stupid. I didn't do a graphic. I didn't do any graphics. I did it really, really, really lazily. I think I got us to 9 wins. I think that's right. Did I say 8? Said 9 or 8? Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Rosal. You were scared that you were going to piss him off. No, that's okay, man. Right? That's okay. I wouldn't want you to piss him off, Rosado. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Huh? Yeah, like 9 and 8. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. And that's if Tua survives. If Tua, those 2 Thursday night games, all joking set aside, the Buffalo and to play Buffalo and Baltimore on short weeks, that's evil, man. Kenny says I had them beating the Chargers, so God would disagree. Well, I'm just trying to throw us a bone with some kind of wins, right? I mean, I don't think we're beating Buffalo. The Patriots are going to be pretty good. Yeah, Adonis, right? No, Rosado, hey man, it's fine, man. I wouldn't want you to get in trouble. You know what I mean? What I'll say, Rosado, is when you get a girlfriend, right? If you won't stick up for your girlfriend because you're afraid to get in trouble, you won't have a girlfriend very long. So just choose wisely when dealing with people. Just saying. That's for the men's channel. Right? You know? Crab says we finished 10-7, missed the playoffs due to a tiebreaker. Yeah, probably the stupid Thursday night games. Real says, oh, come on, Josh, we ain't beating any good teams. That's not true. That's not true at all. We're going to win at least. Look, I'll do it again. All right, so we beat the Colts. We split with the Colts and the Patriots. It's 1-1. Buffalo were 1-2. The Jets were 2-2. Carolina were 3-2. Chargers, I'll make us 4-2. I'll make us 4-2 because Zach Wilson has a career game against the Chargers and the Panthers because Tua gets knocked out against Buffalo. And then we lose to the Jets because, of course, Zach Wilson will lose to the Jets. We beat the Panthers and Chargers. We're 4-2. Tua comes back, and we beat Cleveland and Atlanta. Now we're 6-2, and people think we're good. And then we're 6-3 against the Ravens, 6-4 against the Bills, 6-5 against the Commanders. We beat the Saints to go to 7-5, and then we lose to the Jets to be 7-6. The Steelers make us 7-7. We beat the Bengals to go to 8-7, so we can say, "Oh, we have a chance." Then we lose to Tampa Bay and the Patriots, and we win 8 games, and we suck again. That's about right. But I got to go down there to bring a sign. It says, "I'm blocking Ekblad." He probably won't even be there anyway, right? Yeah. Patel says, "I'm not sure what's worse, a Dolphin fan, a Lions fan, or a Canucks fan." I'd rather be a Lions fan. I wouldn't mind losing in the playoffs, right? Good question. Patel says, "Why did the Canes pick up quarterbacks in the Jets? Ray Lucas, Mike White, Zach Wilson?" I don't know. It's a good question because we did have Mike White. I forgot about that, right? Could it be to pick up on some of their, I don't know. Maybe it's just because teams have seen what Darnold and the other guys, the other Jets quarterbacks, maybe they've seen that the other Jets quarterbacks have turned out pretty good, and so they bring him in thinking they can rehabilitate him, right? Do it for Ekblad's return game to Florida. Yeah. If he signs somewhere else, come down and put the sign up for him to unblock me. Yeah. Oh, so they had the signings at Canes where? That's right. Yeah. No, I get it, Rosado, right? If you're getting stuff signed by Ekblad, you certainly wouldn't want to ask him any questions. That's fine. That's cool. Kenneth says you could lose to the Texans in the playoffs and blow a 27-0 to lead against the Jags in the playoffs. Yeah, there's that. There's that too. Hey, the Dolphins, they find ways to lose. They have a skill. Yeah, when the Ducks come to town, make a sign and ask Ekblad and Gudis to come back to the Panthers, right? Well, that's all right. Yeah, good point, Adonis. Well, it's okay. Look, at least we got the Panthers, right? I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, Ekblad, Marchand, Kachuk, and Reinhardt all went to the Bahamas. Huh. So Ekblad and Marchand are together. It's interesting because they're competing for the same money. Very interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, Colin, yeah, we got the Carolina Panthers, right? Remember back in the day when nobody knew the Florida Panthers and they would always give us they'd give us like the wrong logo, right? And they would be talking about the Florida Panthers and they'd have the Carolina Panthers freaking logo up there. Patel says it's not better in the Bahamas. It was when I used to go there. Yeah, the Crabs. The Dolphins haven't won anything in this century. When's the last time we won a playoff game? When is the last time? What was the last game? I want to share this memory. When was last time Miami Dolphins won a playoff game? Was December 30th, 2000. Yeah, when we beat the Colts. When we beat the Colts in overtime. I remember that. Yep. That was the first year after Marino left, right? I believe that was the Jay Fiedler, Ricky Williams game. If memory serves me correctly. Let's see. Ricky Williams. No. Hold on a second. Yeah, Jay Fiedler. 185 yards passing, 1 touchdown. And my brother Gene's calling me, and I'm on the stream. Smith, who the hell was that? Lamar Smith. So that wasn't even a Ricky Williams. That was Lamar Smith. I forgot about him. Yeah, 209 yards rushing with Lamar Smith. And then the next game he was trashed, right? Didn't he have like 40 carries or something? Doesn't say here. I think he said he had something like 40 carries that game. Yeah, a lot of Dolphins. Yeah, Smith went to jail. That's right. Yeah, Ricky Williams wasn't on the Dolphins yet. That's right. So we never even won a playoff game with Ricky, did we? Oh man, that's right. Because that was still JJ. That was still JJ. And we came back and won that game. We were losing 14-0 at halftime, and we scored 10 points in the fourth quarter, and then we won in overtime. And the overtime was, so Fiedler threw a pass to Weaver, a 9-yard pass with 40 seconds left to tie the game to go to overtime. And then Smith had a 17-yard touchdown run with 3:44 left in overtime. Yep. And that's the last time. So Kyle would have been, it's the curse. It's the curse. Because, Jed Weaver, that's right. The last time the Dolphins won the Super Bowl, I was just about to turn 2. And the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game, Kyle was just about to turn 2. That's it. That's it. Yeah. I wanted a Ricky Williams jersey one time. I forget what happened to it. Like I was going to get one. I think I had it in my cart. I forget what happened. Something stupid. Like I had it in my cart, and then I think something happened in my car at the time, and I had to spend the money on car repairs or something. Krabs says, imagine Marino and Williams playing together. They almost did. Yeah. And then Ricky had to retire, right? Because we never did win a playoff game. I thought for sure we had, but I guess we didn't. And now that wasn't JJ. That was Wanstead, right? Because JJ and Marino left at the same time. And then Wanstead didn't want Marino. Yeah. So Rosado says, can we talk about the Drew Brees situation real quick? We could have won something by now. Well, I mean, you got to blame the doctors there. They had 3 different doctors. I remember this in depth because I was still living down there in South Florida and listening to talk radio and all of that, all of the Dolphins. And they had 3 different doctors look at Culpepper's films and Breeze's films. And all 3 independent, not associated with the team. All 3 of them said, go with Culpepper. Breeze's shoulder is done. All 3 doctors said Breeze's shoulder was shot and that Culpepper was the better deal. And to say that they were wrong is a massive understatement. Yeah, I get it, Krabs. But I mean, they did go with 3 different doctors' opinions. And all 3, and it was unanimous. It wasn't like, well, it was very much like Breeze's shot. All three of them said the same thing, like the dude is done. And then Culpepper went out there on one leg, and he sucked. You want to know a true story? I'll tell you a good story. So my brother from another mother, Gene, he had gotten separation pay from the Air Force at that time because he was in the Air Force and he got out, and then he went into the Navy. But he got a separation pay from the Air Force, and he spent a lot of money, close to 6 figures. And he has 2 5,000 count boxes of Dante Culpepper cards because he was convinced from watching him in college that Culpepper was going to be the next Marino, and he was investing his money. And he's got thousands and thousands of cards in top loaders just sitting somewhere in a closet, and he wasted all that money. Yeah, Jake Long over Matt Ryan too. Yeah. That was another big one. Jake Long's body just fell apart. We have the worst luck in the world, right? Who was the University of Miami wide receiver that we tried to get for Marino back in the day? That tore his Achilles like on the first day of practice, and then he tried to come back the next year, and he bumped it again. Again, the name escapes me, but somebody will know who I'm talking about. Yatil Green. Yeah, my brain actually worked for a second. He was fast as lightning. Never made it on the field. Never made it on the field. Colin, Riley Smith resigns in Vegas for 1 year, worth $2 million, including a no trade clause. That's interesting. So he wants to stay for the full year, but not get dealt at the deadline. Interesting. $2 million. I mean, that's dirt cheap, right? That's dirt cheap. Zod says Saban probably stays if Breeze comes. But Saban was horrible. Saban was a horror. I mean, we went through some coaches. God, you had to remind me of Nick Saban. He was horrible. What about the other one? Philbin, Joe Philbin. Oh, God. He had this thing called fail forward fast. His idea going into training camp was the more mistakes that we made, the better it was because we wouldn't make the same mistakes over and over again. And he literally named it fail forward fast. That dude was just completely incompetent. Adam Gase was a bad one too. Krabs says Mason Taylor, son of Jason Taylor, gets drafted by the Jets. Yeah, I remember Saban says he was staying, and then boom, he was the Alabama coach. We were by, right? Like, I don't know anybody that was like, damn it, Saban, we wish you would have stayed. If you want to talk coaches, there's one coach where I think we effed up, and that's Dan Campbell. I mean, we had him, and the team liked him, and the fans wanted him to stay. And yeah, Detroit didn't win a Super Bowl, but I'd rather be Detroit right now with their attitude than what we have. They weren't our doctors, Rosado. They were independent, non-team doctors. They wanted doctors that didn't have anything to do with the team to look at it, and all three said the same thing. Luis says Quinn Ewers has a lot of big wins. It could happen, but they're going to give, if something happens to Tua, they're going to give Zach Wilson a big chance before you'd see Ewers on the field. Tua would have to get hurt, and then Wilson would have to really fail to get him on the field, my opinion. Rosado says, honestly, Brady doesn't probably have 7 if Reeves comes to Miami. I don't know. I mean, on one hand, I get what you're saying. On the other hand, everything the Dolphins touch, just melts in their hands. You know? Real says, not the first time Sean Payton got one over on us. We beat him 70-20 in 23, and now we're in purgatory, and he's got a young, promising team. Uh-huh. I remember that 70. Yeah, Luis Greer's first move was firing Dan Campbell. Yep. I was hoping he was going to stay. Maybe he wasn't completely ready, but now we got McDaniel, and they all want to talk culture change. They want to talk, we need to be tougher. It's like, well, you had the guy. Tua's missed 34% of NFL starts. Yeah, and Greer's still here because Ross picked Tua. Exactly. Colin, I hope so too, man. He's getting close. I was really disappointed when they lost last year. Not that I want to be a Lions fan, but it was anybody but the Chiefs. You know what I mean? At that point last year, it was anybody but the Chiefs. Which honestly, I would have kind of expect the Eagles. We could see. When's the last time we saw back-to-back champs in 2 sports consecutively? Well, I guess baseball has to come first. But I wonder when the last time we had back-to-back champs in hockey and in football at the same time. Philly could win again. They got a good team. There's really no reason why they couldn't win again. I don't see anybody. I mean, if Baltimore got there, do you trust Baltimore in that big of a game against the Eagles? Probably not. That'll be a hell of a game, though. Rosado says, it's just me that Brian Flores not do a bad job. He went from 5-11 to 10-6 with old Ryan Fitzpatrick. I didn't mind Flores, but Tua and Flores was just never going to work out. That's one thing that the Panthers do so well that the Dolphins just do horribly, which is take players that fit what the coach is going to bring and make it work. Like the Panthers just keep getting the same type of player over and over and over again. And, you got McDaniel's got all his toys and everything, but now the team is soft. Jameson, yeah, tons of pressure on Baltimore this year to win the Super Bowl. Yep. The Texans, they could be a dark horse. They're going to be right there for sure. For sure. Colin, the NFC is kind of weak this year. I mean, Philly, Detroit, don't really know what to think of San Francisco. Don't trust Dallas. Right? Minnesota, don't trust them. Trying to think. I mean, Tampa's not winning a Super Bowl. Yeah, Colin, the Lions have a chance. They just got to stay healthy. That was brutal what happened to Detroit at the end of the season last year, for sure. Hey, Colby. He does. He does. And Daniel's got his toys. And that's all we got, man. That's what we got. Crab said, yeah, Dolphin players have spoken out and said they hated Flores. Sure. But again, that's what I'm saying is like you get a coach that doesn't fit the players, and then you fire the coach, and you get a coach that you got it's just been a constant cycle of rinse and repeat. Like the list is so long. The list is so long. Head coach history. Let's just go back. So we go back to, we had Shula, Johnson, and I liked Wanstead. I know he wasn't great, But Wannstedt was a decent bridge between having two Hall of Famers and Shula and Johnson. I didn't mind Wannstedt. Then we went to Nick Saban. Oh, Cam Cameron. Oh, God. Blech. Oh, I'm going to be sick. Cam Cameron. Then Sperano. Dang, man. I like Sperano. Then we had Philbin, Adam Gase, Brian Flores, and Mike McDaniel. And they're not counting the interims in there. So they're not counting the interims in there, which obviously Dan Campbell was the interim. But that run of Saban, Cameron, Sperano, Philbin, Gase, and Flores, like there's one guy in there that we liked, and that was Sperano. He was a good dude. Dominic says, until the Dolphins get a Pat Riley, Bill Zito type to replace Greer, Dolphins will not be a winning franchise. Ross uses the stadium as his cash cow concerts. Yep, no doubt. No disagreement there. You might get lucky and win a playoff game. That's it. I know, Luis, he won't wear the Guardian cap. I know. He just don't care. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He cares, but he's not smart about it, you know? He's just not smart about it. Krabs says, I just want Tua to stay healthy and Tyreek to stop having trouble with the law. Yeah, and I want the Panthers to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, Mr. Krabs. Come on, be realistic. Luis says, if Tua stays healthy, we're a pretty good team. 11 wins. That could be pushing it. I mean, we're going to have to win. To get 11 games, you have to win all the games that you should win. We've got some tough games. Buffalo Thursday night, Baltimore Thursday night, Washington and Spain. Like, you can't falter on any of the games that you're supposed to win if this team's going to get to 11. The offensive line's got to overperform. The secondary, 11 wins if we keep Ramsey? Maybe, but if you don't, it could get ugly on defense. Yeah, 9 wins, right. Yeah, 9 at best, for sure. Rosado says, you asked me to please show all the negative Paul Maurice videos I made 2 years. Yeah, exactly. Fins up no matter what, man. Exactly. You always want to you want to win. You want to win. You want to win. Absolutely, man. So, delete. You want me to delete them, Rosado? Hell no. I'm going to do a montage this summer now that I'm thinking about it. I'll do a montage of all the Paul Maurice. I don't think I ever said he needed to be fired. I don't know, Rosado. I might have bitched and complained about him a little bit, but don't forget, I'm the one that said when he came in that I liked him and we were going to start slow and win the cup that year. You'll have to tell me which ones. Hey, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that, buddy. He says if Tua's on the field, all 17, they should get 10 wins and sneak into the wild card. How do we get to 10 wins? Rosado, I'll check that out. I'll check them out. I mean, how do we get to 10 wins? If Tua's in, if Tua stays healthy, Indianapolis, Patriots, Jets, Panthers, Chargers, Browns, Falcons, Saints, Jets, Steelers. No. Bengals are 10. Tampa's 11. Patriots would be 12. So out of those 12 games that I just said, you got to win 10 of those 12. Patriots, Bucks, Bengals, Jets, Saints, Falcons, Browns, Chargers, Panthers, Jets, Patriots, Colts. You can only lose 2. You can only lose 2 unless you're going to beat Buffalo or Baltimore or Washington, which probably not, or Pittsburgh. I don't know. 10's tough, man. 10 is tough. I said he needed to go, Rosado. You sure it was me and not Stu? We'll see. Yeah, the second half of the schedule looks tough. We'll be melting down by Thanksgiving. If we're not healthy, for sure. Dominic says, I love my Dolphins. I don't think we're getting to 11 with or without Tua. Crash says, Dolphins tend to win a game they really should have lost. Which game would that be? Whichever one of the Buffalo games we find a way to win. That would be my guess. I mean, maybe we can sneak a win against Washington. I mean, I can't even get that out of my mouth saying that. Ravens? Like if we beat Buffalo, if we split with Buffalo, like if we beat Buffalo on the road, maybe that I would count. Mazzotto, I haven't checked yet, bud. You know it takes me 2 or 3 days to check on all that stuff. Boy, 11 is tough. I wouldn't put my money on 11 unless the odds are really good. You know what I mean? Unless the odds are really spectacular, then maybe I'd look at 11. So, all right, everybody, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for hanging out with me. Much, much, much appreciated. I'll be back tomorrow at 4. I won't be here Friday. Friday, I have an appointment. But I'll be back here tomorrow at 4. Anything that you guys see that you want me to talk about, you want us to talk about on the stream, you can send it to flyingfluffyhockey@gmail.com. I'm not going to open up a Flying Fluffy football email. Just send it to flyingfluffyhockey@gmail.com, and we'll talk about it here on the stream if there's something you want me to bring up. Otherwise, appreciate all the support. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for all the super chats. And I will see most of you tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon on the hockey. We'll be good to go. I'll see you then. Thanks a lot.